Hi, loves. Today we're going to do a Theta Healing clearing and healing session with Jodine, and I tagged her in the post, so she'll be joining us in a minute. I wanted to do this new experience, and I'm growing outside my comfort zone. I felt really called the other day to start doing live demonstrations of what Theta Healing is and how it can support you, and Jodine's joining. So, it says Jodine is watching. Request to be in your broadcast. Add viewers in your broadcast. Add. Add her on camera. Beautiful. Looks like it's adding, adding, adding. Connecting. Technology is always fun. Hi, Jodine. How are you doing?
Great. How are you?
I'm awesome.
Can you hear me? Good.
Yes. I have a teeny bit of a feedback, though. So I'll turn down my volume a little bit. Maybe the headset will help with that.
Is that better?
Let's see. I still have the feedback a little bit.
Hang on.
And Kathy, you joined. Does that sound like a feedback echo? For anyone else who's joining, we have 3 people on live right now.
Is that better?
Let's see. Yes, that sounds so much better.
It's much better. Okay. Could have been. I was trying to charge my phone a little bit, so.
Okay. How long do you think your phone's going to last?
Well, it's at almost 19%, so we should be good.
Okay. Well, sounds
good.
Give
the energy to
so,
it.
Yeah, we'll send all the good ground and clearing energy. So we're going to do a Theta Healing demonstration because I love when I have people brand new experience it, and whenever I get new clients, they're like, I have no idea that it was this and that it was this powerful and all kinds of things like that. So I'm like, I'm going to have more experiences with brand new people that I've never worked one-on-one with or any kind of thing before so that they can get that experience. And I am so grateful for Jodine being the first kind of guinea pig in this process and for sharing live a healing session. So I'm super excited to support you guys with it as well. You guys can get all this energy just by saying yes when you're sitting at home watching it safely from your own comforts, wherever you're at in the world. And Theta Healing essentially is a healing modality that supports you in clearing and releasing your limiting blocks and beliefs and things that no longer support your highest and best good. So if you think of all of your dreams and desires. Consciously, it's those 5% where we want more money and freedom and love and support and health and all those incredible things in our life. And we want all these dreams and desires that are unique to our own heart. That conscious intention is 5%. So if you think of an iceberg, it's just the tip of the iceberg. The other 95% is just beneath the surface, which is our subconscious belief systems, which has been formed throughout our entire lives, especially between the ages of 0 and 7, where we're little sponges. And it's awesome because we learned how to speak the English language through osmosis, but we also totally clung on to our parents and societies and our friends and family members' limiting beliefs around all the other things in our life. So around not being good enough or smart enough or stress or financial fears and lack and scarcity, all those things can come through just through osmosis, and we pick those up. So it's in our subconscious. We never raised our hand consciously and we're like, yes, I would love to struggle with money for the rest of my life. But we have that in our subconscious. So we want to clear and release that. So that's what we can do through Theta Healing. And it's a super simple process. I'm just kind of the middleman between you and your higher power. And I love using higher power for group settings, but individual, I tailor it to your individual higher power's name because some people God, creator, source energy, the universe, spirit, whatever your higher power name is, you can kind of transition that in your head as we go through. And today we're going to focus on some financial blocks because unfortunately a lot of society, especially light workers, feel like they can't get everything that they're dreaming and desiring, and we're held back by those financial belief systems and scarcity that prevents us from having the massive impact of change that we desire to see in the world. So I'm super excited to get into this today, and thank you so much for joining us, Jodine.
Well, thank you. I appreciate being on here, and I just want to speak gratitude for allowing me to come in and do this because I think, it's interesting just to give a little background. I recently went through a valley for about 24 months, and I've had the financial abundance, but in this valley, I've hit some blocks, and it's been pissing me off
Yeah.
because I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense to me. But I lost my parents 3 months apart from each other. We closed down a business because the the oil industry was, turning down. And then my
Mm-hmm.
husband walked out on me. And so, it was a lot of layers. And I think a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times we have these blocks, but when, the layers really add up, then it's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh shit, I'm right here. And so I'm very grateful because a lot of it doesn't make sense to me because I've created money and I've made money, and I'm not saying that I'm desperate and don't have it coming in, but it's not the
Mm-hmm.
abundance that I need.
Yes, the full
Or
financial
I
freedom.
Right, right. And I guess just kind of going back and getting these blocks cleared,
Mm.
to me is just exciting because it's like, they've been there too long.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
yeah.
Beautiful. And I'm going to turn up my phone again because I think earlier I was getting that feedback and I want to make sure I hear you super clearly.
Okay.
And hi, Crystal. She's in the KBB as well. That's where I
Oh,
originally got
cool.
the energy to be like, we need to do this. So thank
Oh,
you so much for
awesome.
joining us there and for joining us today. I'm so excited. So, what's the most prominent memory that you have around this kind of downward spiral that you've had? Like, where did it start? Do you feel like it started with your husband or the death of a parent in particular? What's your like most prominent memory that's coming through for that, where it started?
I think the big part of it, and it goes back, and I've done a lot of work, is on abandonment issues,
Hmm.
where I'm to that level now. At first, I didn't think that was part of it, but that
Hmm.
abandonment, I was sexually abused as a child, and, that abandonment came up then.
Hmm.
And so through this, that's probably the hardest part. And then also support. Like my mom
Hmm.
was never a big, oh, you need to do XYZ so that you can get, this. She just would always say, well, I can't make that decision. You've got to make it for yourself. And not
Hmm.
hearing those words have been hurtful. So
Okay.
losing that mentorship, even though it wasn't direction, she
Hmm.
was just a major supporter. So I think those two things, I know you asked for one, but they're kind of tied together, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
And to focus on the abandonment issues first, what type of work do you feel like is still coming up for that, that you're noticing is being reflected back to you?
I think it's the abandonment of the cash flow that is kind of tying in there too. I think that
Hmm.
that's somehow connected, and I haven't gotten clarity on it. If there is, I guess that kind of correlates somehow, but I'm not sure how.
Hmm. Okay. And I also want to show you how to do some muscle testing so we can go a little bit deeper into what exact roots. And everyone
Okay.
who's watching can do this too. It's so simple. So you can muscle test with your thumb and finger together. And it works because our muscles know if we're saying a true statement to ourselves or a false statement. And when we're lying to ourselves, our muscles get a little bit weaker, which allows it to break. So we're using our other fingers as like pliers. So I'll hold it this way. You can hold it however way you want, but just that other people can see. If I say my name is Laura and pull, it stays strong. My name is
Mm-hmm.
Jack, and it breaks. So do you want to try that?
Yep. My name is Jodine. My name is Mary.
And how's that feel? Does that feel like your strong yes and strong no? Does that feel good? And then
Mm-hmm.
everyone else, if you are watching live or on the replay, let us know if you're having any issues with muscle testing. Do you want to muscle test everyone abandons me?
Everyone abandons me.
Money has abandoned me?
Money has abandoned me.
Okay. So it's not so much money, it's the people first. So which parent did you lose first?
I lost my mom first.
Okay. And do you care if we use higher power during the healing? Do you have a
Oh, no,
particular name that
please
you'd
do.
rather?
No,
Okay.
that works.
So do you want to clear and release and let go of the emotional baggage, junk, and negative energy around the grief and loss of your mother? Would you like that?
Yes, please.
Do you want to clear the trauma, soul trauma, and frozen energy and stuckness you're feeling around not being able to be guided and mentored by your biggest support system? Do you want to clear and release through your higher power the pain and suffering you've had around that and your heartbreak? Do you want to clear that?
Yes, please.
And you want to be filled with your higher power's unconditional love, knowing that you're always guided, protected, and kept safe and supported on your journey. Would you like that?
Yes, please.
And do you want to cut the cords, contracts, commitments, and obligations that you have around feeling abandoned throughout your life so you can release and let go of the belief system that people and everyone around you will at some point abandon you and be brought into your truth and alignment through your higher power, knowing that you are loved, you are supported, and that you can have a deeper understanding of the cycles and seasons in your life and how you will grow and evolve and change, and how the relationships you have with others will grow and evolve and change throughout your life. Would you like that?
Yes, please.
And that abandoned feeling in your body. If you do a quick scan from your head down to your toes, where does that abandoned feeling live?
Actually, as soon as you started, like in my lower abdomen, it's not really my kidney, but something, and it's not my gallbladder because I have that out, but on the opposite side of my
Mhm.
gallbladder.
And if you bring more attention to that space, all of your focus there, is there a particular color that that energy has?
It's dark gray.
And does it have a temperature?
No, it's almost into a dark green gray.
Okay. Does it have a texture? How would it feel if you touched it?
It's actually sharp pain. As soon as you mentioned clearing my
Mm.
mom, it was instant pain.
So we're going to take that sharp pain, that dark green gray lower abdomen pain, and we're going to safely move it outside of your body through your higher power and replace that old area where that used to live with unconditional love. Would you like that?
Yes, please.
Now that that energy is safely outside of your body, we're going to ask it a question. And just think of the first thought, first feeling that comes up. You can share that with us without any judgment of what it's saying or what its belief system is. So if you
Um,
ask it, what are you trying
Actually,
to teach me? Or what was coming up?
um, when I had a cancerous tumor removed, I actually had bile, and literally I just felt that taste in my mouth again as you
Mm,
were talking about getting it to come out. And
mm-hmm.
the pain is actually still somewhat there. It's not as much, but the other thing of that too, it was actually taking my breath away. So I don't know if that has anything to
Okay,
do.
so we can support you with more unconditional love from your higher power and take it in smaller chunks at a time so you can process a little bit more easily. And you can just breathe through it. You can envision yourself being filled with unconditional love, bright white, iridescent light energy, surrounding that space in your abdomen, and then that's radiating out throughout your body, that unconditional love feeling to support you in this process. Just breathing into it, knowing that you're safe, knowing that your higher power is right by your side, watching over you and protecting you, helping you through this process. And how's that feeling in your body right now?
It's definitely going away, dissipating,
That's
but
good.
there's still not as sharp. Um, but it was interesting because before the pain was like pointing up, and now it's almost like it's pointing down.
Okay.
It's just the lower part that's hurting.
Mm. So it feels like there's a couple different roots that are like intertwined with themselves. So
Right.
what if we take the smallest piece, the most manageable, easy to deal with piece right now, and take that piece? What does that one look like in particular?
Um, it's interesting. The colors are going to vibrant
Mm,
purple royalty, um, and definitely penetrating through. There's still some. It's interesting because it's actually almost look like roots that they're trying to go over. So
hmm
it's interesting. Um,
Very interesting. And what
but I'm
kind
not
of size is it?
um, like almost like the size of like a softball, and it's almost the
Okay.
texture of like a brain. I mean, it's almost the that type of um, bumpiness on it, I guess.
hmm So let's take that purple, penetrating, softball-sized energy, and with your higher power, safely remove that from your body and fill in that old space with unconditional love. Would you like to do that?
Yes, please.
And now the softball, purple energy is safely outside your body. We're going to ask it that question, and it's just the first thought, first feeling without any judgment coming up around it. What lesson was it trying to teach you?
Not getting any answers, but it's interesting because the color keeps like moving like a pendulum at the bottom, and
Mm.
it's like swinging up, and so it's the only focus that I have is watching that color. It's almost like it's trying to. I don't know. I've never seen that before.
And what's a pendulum represent to you? What's that mean for you?
Tit for tat is what came to
Mm.
mind.
So, do you want to know with deeper clarity and wisdom through your higher power what this energy has been representing in your life, what it's been holding place for in your life, and what that tit for tat energy was doing for your life? Would you like that?
Yes, please.
And would you like to mark any lessons around learning through hardship, pain, or suffering, around equal exchange or tit for tat or justice or like compromise in your life that you have to give this to get that, that you can have a deeper understanding of what that was through your higher power so you can have that lesson marked as complete now and you can move forward on your journey learning your lessons through ease, speed, grace, joy, and love instead of hardship, pain, suffering, or like painstaking hard work. Would you like that?
Yes.
And is there a particular person in your life where you had a very tit for tat relationship with?
David is what came
Mm.
to mind.
So would you like to cut your cords, contracts, and commitments that you have to David so you can be fully released and let go from that old cycle, that old energy of tit for tat, and forgive yourself for being in that relationship with him in that way, and forgive him for all those different situations or circumstances where you had to give in order to get or compromise or do that tit for tat relationship? Would you like to clear those now?
Yes, please.
And we'll clear it completely on all levels and resolve it on a history level and move you forward to the present moment, releasing and letting go of any and all heaviness, pressure, weight, and responsibility that you felt through that relationship. Would you like that?
Yes, please.
And would you like to send that old purple softball energy up to your higher power to be transmuted into love? Would you like that?
Yes, please.
And then we'll tune back into your body, into your abdomen, into another layer of what's coming up around those abandonment issues. What are you feeling there now?
It's interesting because when we started talking about this, and the only way I can describe it, if a woman's ever had a contraction before, literally I was just having contractions trying to push it out, and it was like going up towards my chest, but below my heart.
Mm. So does it still feel as intense, that contraction feeling? I'm not sure if she just froze. You froze a little bit, and your voice is starting to come back through. Is she breaking up for anyone else? There, you're back.
Am I, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're back. I can hear you now.
Okay. I think my power might have been, I had my eyes closed. I didn't realize that my power was down. So I plugged myself back in.
Okay,
Is that
feels
good?
good.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I'm a little bit echoey, but we can still keep going.
Okay. You're not echoey on this side, so.
That's good. Okay, so that contraction feeling. If you put your focus and energy there, how much space is that taking up in your body?
It's like the whole top of my stomach.
Does that have a particular temperature?
It definitely could, I mean, I don't feel like it's extremely hot, but it could definitely reach a boiling point. It's more of a spotty, whitish red.
How's it feel in your body? What's the texture of it?
There's like not one sharp pain, but just kind of spread throughout and almost, you know, like gurgling gas.
Okay. So we're going to take all of that old energy that was across the entire top of your stomach, that was feeling warm, and that was reddish and whitish, and we're going to safely move it outside of your body, to your higher power. And fill that old spot with unconditional love. Would you like that?
Yes, please.
Filling every single cell of your being with that unconditional love, supporting you in this process. Now that that old energy is fully outside your body, completely safe and separate from you. What was that trying to teach you? That first thought, first feeling.
You're okay.
Beautiful. And would you like to know, flowing completely through your higher power, that lesson is now marked as complete, that you're okay, that you're safe, that you're protected, that you will always be loved, and have that fully integrated into your being, into your knowing right
Yes,
now.
please.
Would you like that?
Yes, please.
Would you like to transmute that old energy into unconditional love through your higher power? Have that safely be sent and turned into love?
Yes, please.
More unconditional love and deepen that understanding in your authentic self through your highest self, knowing that you're always okay, that you're loved, that you're secure, and that you're safe. Would you like that?
Yes, please.
If you move your awareness and attention back into your stomach, back into your body, how's that feeling?
A small, like, pressure on the top of my stomach that kind of goes up. And it's interesting because it's just like a straight line that's like going straight up to my heart.
Not pressure. Is it taking up a large amount of space all the way up to your heart, or is it more like a string feeling?
Like a small pipe, not definitely more than a string, but not, you know, a huge spot, just a.
What color is that small pipe feeling?
Color of like a black, but it was interesting because there's almost a hand feeling there too, so I don't know. That's why I'm kind of stuttering a little bit, because it's almost went away from, you know, the straight line pipe to almost a hand. I can see a hand being presented.
What hand does that feel like?
It's kind of elusive. I can see the fingers, but I can't make out if it's.
So you can't make out what?
I can't make out whose it is, but there's definitely hand, and it kind of represents a helping hand.
Okay, beautiful.
To ask for help.
Okay. So would you like to take that old pressure energy that used to start in your stomach and go right straight up to your heart, that small pipe, that blackish energy, and safely remove that from your body and replace it with unconditional love? Would you like that?
Yes, please.
Safely removed from your body. Would you like to know through your higher power why it was there? Have the clarity that you need in understanding, so you can learn the lesson and release it fully. Would you like it?
Yes, please.
first feeling that comes up for this energy, what was it trying to teach you?
Solid answers, but I definitely am getting like a tighter feeling in my throat, like I can't speak.
Okay. So let's send unconditional love to your throat, to your higher power, filling up every cell, starting in your throat and going all the way through your body. Would you like that?
Yes, please.
Releasing any and all blocks, negative energy, and misaligned energy in your throat. Would you like to clear those?
Yes, please.
How's that feeling?
It's crazy how tired I am.
You're clearing a lot. If you have water nearby, definitely take a sip.
Yeah.
You're doing great. You're clearing a lot. So is that tight in your throat?
No, but it was interesting. It kind of moved back towards my neck area, like right back here.
Interesting. How's that feeling in your neck?
Up, like it was back here, was kind of, a strong pain, and now it's kind of like right in here, like it's definitely taken a lot to get out.
Yeah. So let's fill you with love from your higher power, with energy, with vibrancy, with joy, showing you that you can clear and release any and every energy that's no longer serving you. Would you like that?
Yes, please.
Would you like to know through your higher power that you can clear with ease, with joy, with love and support, without feeling run down or drained or exhausted from the process? Would you like that?
Definitely.
Would you like to know through your higher power how you can go with the flow and follow the flow and allows additional ease and support in all areas of your life? Would you like that?
Yes, please.
When was the first time in your life, as far back as you can remember, being told to shut up or be quiet, or it's not important for what you want to be speaking right now?
I remember, but 18 months just vividly.
Beautiful. So for 18 months, how did you feel? What feeling are you getting around that?
Astonishment. I couldn't believe that they would do that, that they would tell me that.
And after that astonishment, did you feel sad or upset or frustrated? How was that feeling in your body?
Loneliness, sadness.
So would you like to compare that loneliness, that sadness, and that astonishment, that like disbelief that you were being told to shut up and be quiet and you couldn't speak and voice your truth? Would you like to clear all of those old energies from you now?
Yes, please.
And would you like to forgive whoever made you feel that in your life and show you that it's safe to speak fully and completely now, that it's safe to shine your light and it's safe to move in your inspired action when you feel called to speak and communicate freely in every way. Would you like that?
Yes, please.
Would you like to send healing to your throat chakra through your higher power, knowing that in every cell of your being, in your vocal cords, and throughout your entire throat, that it's safe to speak your truth without being shut down or harmed in any way? Would you like that?
Yes, please.
And that pain that was in your neck, how is your neck feeling now? Beautiful. And then how about returning to your stomach, to your abdomen? How's that feeling?
There's still pressure in the lower part, but not like it was before.
That lower pressure, how much space is that taking up?
Most of it was. But definitely, again, the whole concept of like a contraction waiting to happen.
That early attraction energy, that lower pressure in your body. How do you feel it comes through?
Came to mind is it made me sick.
Do you want to know through your higher power how to take care of yourself? That you have permission to take time, energy, and space to take care of yourself, to nurture yourself, to nourish your body without making yourself sick, without the external world seeing you sick, so that you can take time for yourself, and that you know what it looks like and feels like to create and honor the space in your life for your body to heal, for yourself to nourish and replenish your cup, and that you can do so without any illness or disease showing up in your body. Would you like that?
Yes, please.
Let's remove that old construction energy that was having that pressure in your body. Safely move it through your higher power right now and fill up that area with unconditional love. Would you like that?
Yes, please.
Would you like to know through your higher power how you can return to your optimal health and vitality? That you can release and let go of the grief, absence of your loved ones in your life, and safely move forward knowing that you have created space for new loves and support and friendship in your life. Would you like that?
Yes, please.
And do you want to know that it's safe to receive new love and unconditional love in your life? And that you can do so without fearing or having the worries that they'll at some point leave or abandon you, or that you'll have heartache by entering new love into your life.
Yes, please.
And do you want to know through your higher power what your life looks like and feels like with that, and that it's completely possible and safe on all levels for you to have that now, and that you're more than worthy and deserving of receiving unconditional love without fearing that you'll be abandoned or hurt from that love. Would you like that?
Yes, please.
Do you want to know through your higher power was actually happening around your beliefs that you've been abandoned, that you can receive now the truth, clarity, and wisdom of your higher power of what was actually happening in each and every one of those different situations and circumstances, so you can receive peace and love into your life now, and that you can be moved into the present moment where you know that you can receive unconditional love by your higher power, by yourself, and by others in your life. Would you like that?
Yes, please. As we're talking about this, in the pictures I'm seeing, there's actually a female face and a male face, and they're like cuddling, like they're kissing each other's forehead, and it's been interesting to watch that play out.
Beautiful. How do you feel watching that?
First, I wanted to question it and say, why is that? But then I realized that was that I can feel that compassion and love again.
Mm-hmm. Would you like to know through your higher power how you can expand your heart to be open to receiving that compassion and love and fulfillment from a partner again?
Yes, please.
Do you want to clear and let go any other stagnant energy in your life, any other old fragments from old partners or old loving relationships, that you can send unconditional love to each and every one of those people that used to be in your life, and that you can send any old fragments and any old energy that's no longer yours, that was never yours, back to them through unconditional love, and that you can call back to yourself any and all fragments that you've given to others that belong to you, so you can fully, completely heal your heart and heal your soul from those old relationships. Would you like that?
Yes, please.
And do you want to know that it's safe through your higher power to have your heart be full and complete again without fear that it'll break into a million pieces? Would you like that?
Yes, please. When we first started talking the last time, I could feel like my skin lifting up, like it was
lighter, and not as like bogged down by other people's old energies.
Mm-hmm. And before you started talking about that, literally, if you saw me, I was feeling forward. It was like I was so heavy and so tired. It was actually pulling me forward.
Yeah, take water, take a breath whenever you need to.
Pressure like right here on both of my arms.
Do you want to stop holding yourself back? Do you want to know through your higher power how to release and let go of your old resentments, judgments, and doubts, so that you can move forward on your journey with love and abundance in your life?
Yes, please.
And would you like to stop having that self-doubt or feeling like you need to punish yourself or have a negative consequence in your life in order to be propelled forward? Do you like that?
Yes, please.
Do you want to message my mom abandoned me?
Abandoned me?
yes. Do you want to know through your higher power at a deeper level the cycle of life, the seasons of life, and how to move from one chapter to another without being held back from old pain or grief? Would you like that?
Yes, please.
And would you like to get an understanding of how energy is transmuted and how we shift and change throughout our life, but nothing's ever fully gone? Would you like that?
Yes, please.
And would you like to know through your higher power that your mother's still with you, that you're still supported fully in your life, that this has just changed into a different frequency in your life, and that you can release and let go of your old painful thoughts and grief and belief systems that you lost your mom or that your mother abandoned you in any way? Do you like that?
Yes, please.
And feel your unconditional love and knowing through your higher power that it's safe to feel loved and supported in all areas of your life with the current physical beings in your life. Would you like that?
Yes, please.
Do you want to know my mom abandoned me?
My mom abandoned me.
How's that feel now that that's a no?
Yes, better.
Awesome. Would you like to know all of that wisdom and truth also about your father, around any old partners in your life, to understand in your core at a soul level. Sorry, getting the feedback is sometimes messing me up a little bit. But you can feel that at soul level, deep inside that knowingness, that no one has ever abandoned you, that every character in your life has served their purpose, has shown you new lessons and qualities, and you've grown and expanded from these experiences, and that you can release and let go of the old stories or the collective society stories that they left you or abandoned you. Would you like to clear that and be shown through your higher power the truth of each of these situations? Would you like that?
Yes, please.
Do you want to and everyone abandons me?
Everyone abandons me.
Beautiful. More. How does that feel no longer having that belief?
Good.
Awesome. And do you want to know through your higher power how you can be open to receiving that financial abundance and security and freedom into your life? That you can do so without fearing that it will someday go away, and that you're preventing yourself from experiencing a new high to experience a new low. That you know through your higher power that you can continue to expand and move in inspired action in that expansion energy to receive that energy of money into your life. That you know how to expand your cash flow and to receive it fully, starting right now. Would you like that?
Yes, please.
Do you want to give your understanding of the cycle of money and how to be in that circular flow of money without creating any resistance or tension or hardship in your life with that money? Would you like that?
Yes, please.
Move your energy and attention to your heart. Just visualize and expanding that energy of your heart chakra. That it's being filled with unconditional love, that it's being nourished and nurtured, and that it's being expanded so you can receive more and more and more and more in your life. Would you like to know how to energetically prepare for this new level of cash flow and expansion and love through money in your life? Would you like that?
Yes, please.
We can invite all of these changes into your body now. Fill you up with your higher power's unconditional love, compassion, joy, abundance, and bliss. Would you like that?
Mm-hmm. Yes, please.
Cleansing breaths. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And take another sip of water if you need to. How are you feeling now?
It wasn't coming. There's definitely, I can tell, because there was a heaviness that was coming on, but it was like it wasn't going to come out. It was almost like it was pushing me to sleep. That's
Interesting.
It was like it didn't want me to, because I struggled trying to listen to you in the last part.
Interesting. And it's still here, like you can hear me pretty clearly. It's just like that energy is feeling.
But it was like I was literally, like it was pushing me down, like it didn't want to be heard, but I could hear you, and it was like I was fighting, trying to lift up, but it was definitely pushing me down.
So yeah, there might still be some layers of other things as you continue to go forward. Like you have all of these different healing onions. So you've lifted some off, and other new ones could be coming up to be like, I'm ready to be healed now.
Right. Well, and I think people don't understand that, like for me, I had so many different layers. Like there were probably just little things, but when you compile all of them up, that's where all the blockages were coming in. So they might have just been simple little beliefs. I can imagine at 18 months, I probably wanted something or attention or something. And, in that moment, was told quiet or, go away or whatever. And it wasn't in an abandonment moment, on a true level, but in my heart and soul, I brought that into my being.
Right.
Feeling it. So.
And it's so
actually, there is a point where I was, I remember vividly being in my crib, and it might have been around that age because I wasn't able to climb out of the crib yet. But I remember, just crying and crying and crying and wanting somebody to hold me, and nobody came. So that could be that moment still. That I took it as abandonment, and maybe they were trying to teach me to cry myself to sleep. I don't know. But either way, I do have that vivid picture of, being in the crib, kind of, behind the jail bars.
Yeah.
So to speak.
And as humans, we have all these little traumas, and a lot of people perceive like, oh, I was never like beaten, or I was never locked in a room, but as a human being coming into this experience where we are literally dependent on every other human for our like first couple years of our life, we have to kind of shift and change and act how they want us to. So like other animals where they're born and within 10 minutes they're like up and running and they can go get their own food and do all these things. They have such a different life experience than humans. It's literally traumatic to be a baby because you need all these different things and you can't go get it for yourself. So all these little traumas build up and they stay in our bodies. So it's important to like be aware of that without judging it. We chose to be a human in this life. So it's just like, okay, I need to clear these things because they no longer serve me.
Right. Definitely amazing.
Thank you. I'm glad that that was able to support you. And how does it feel to no longer have that abandonment, like where everyone's going to abandon you and have that fear, that limiting belief system?
It's refreshing, and I can see where it definitely was a stronghold on me and keeping me back. I mean, I can see that now.
And I can so resonate with that. Like I have had to deal with so many different abandonment issues, and it's so heavy to work through it, but it's so freeing and so much lighter on the other side.
The other thing that was interesting, there was a face that was trying to come through, and it wasn't my mom's, and so I will definitely be tuning in to try to figure out whose face it was.
Beautiful.
Thanks for sharing.
Because there's definitely a face. Like when I was getting, just before I got heavy and tired and not able to listen to you, I could see the face, and I was trying so hard to distinguish who it was. And it was like it almost didn't want me to see it. And the other thing that came, once I started listening to you again, I saw the eye. I saw an eye.
Interesting.
That's beautiful. A lot of the energy I was getting is like she doesn't fully understand how supported she is. Like it's almost like you need to see it to believe it. So that's interesting that you were kind of trying to get that, but facing that resistance of like I need to see it like more clear.
Yeah.
So that's very beautiful that that kind of showed up as a face.
Yeah. Like but it was interesting because I was trying to figure out whose face it was, trying to, and it wasn't. Yeah, I don't know whose face it was. It was just the outline, and it was there, and I was like, whose nose is that? Whose chin is that? It was definitely trying to present itself clearer, but I couldn't. Maybe I'm not supposed to see it yet. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe not, or maybe if you're feeling called to seeing it a little bit more clear, then after this you could do a meditation and set your intention like, I desire to see who's here to support me now, or to receive that guidance in a deeper way now. But yeah, having an affirmation that I am super supported, others are super supportive of me, whatever is like verbiage is really resonating with you, I totally recommend you to do that. And my phone's gonna die now too, so let's. I have a little charge back.
A lot of energy going on.
Yeah. So yeah.
But it's crazy. If anybody, if you want to know the experience afterwards, you do get tired because the energy comes out of you, and it's a lot of it for me, I feel, is toxic energy, and that. You got to think of like when you're at a chiropractor, those muscles get moved out of alignment. And a lot of people say, oh, the chiropractor didn't work because I went one time and, I still was in pain, a week later. Well, they move you, they adjust that muscle. And then, that spine, those muscles have memories. And so it takes a while. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 times to clear or, to adjust it so that it gets that memory into a straight alignment versus, like 20 years you had, this muscle was like that, and you go one time, you think, oh, it should be fixed, but it has memory. And so I always say, like, when you're doing energy clearing, that energy has a memory too, and when it cleanses out of you, I mean, it's like a toxicity that's been in you, and it hasn't served you. And so you do get tired, and a lot of people are like, well, I'm not doing that because that made me feel like crap. And it's like, it's getting rid of that crap that clears you, and you can be freer. So just, and even like, I give blood a lot, and sometimes when I give double blood, I will be really, really tired. So I try not to, have a heavy schedule the next day just so that I'm not, out of it, so to speak. And it's kind of the same thing, when you're clearing these energies, it does bring heaviness to you. But once you let it go through, and even like the gases too. I mean, you're releasing that. Your whole body's been holding on to that. And so, people are like, well, that was weird. I'm not doing that. But it's like, no, that's the process. I don't think we talk about that. When you're doing it, what's the experience? How does that affect you? And so, you do feel those different heavinesses, and you do feel the gas releases, because, it's like that muscle on, when you're needing the chiropractor, it goes back. And so, and when you're releasing that energy, it's releasing that, and you will get, different tinglings and feelings. And it's like, wait a minute, what's going on? So.
Yeah, and you were open to like clearing a lot, which I'm really grateful for, because we were able to dig deeper and deeper and deeper, which felt really good. But yeah, like different people have different experiences. So some people are like, I'm ready to go deep and like clear this bullshit out because I'm so fucking done with it, like you were, and you're like, clear this and clear this and clear this, which is amazing because it kept coming up and you totally went over time, which I'm totally fine with. I'm like, oh, you're so open for all of this right now.
Well, and I think it's important that once you can get into it and get it going, a lot of times too, I think that, a lot of times it's almost like there's, I think of it as a heavy block. Once if you can lift that block off and you can start getting that crap out of you, it's helped. And, people are like, oh, I don't believe in this. It's something that, like when you go to the doctor, if you don't believe the medication they're giving you isn't going to work for you, it's not going to work for you. You're going to go back asking for another prescription. And if it's the same with energy healing, if you believe that it's going to help you, it's going to help you. And that's the only way I can put it. So it's your mindset, in no matter what you do in life, has so much power over you that we don't even know that. And it has been proven medically. People have gotten sugar pills saying that it's the chemo killing their cancer, and they totally believe it, and they're totally cured on sugar pills. So if you can't tell me that the power of the mind, is extraordinary, then you probably aren't in my zone.
Yeah, they probably wouldn't have watched the video this far.
Yeah. You're not my friend zone anyway, so conversation over.
Yeah. So thank you so much for sharing. I'm so grateful that you were open, especially being alive for clearing so much of this. And thank you guys all for watching this far. Definitely let us know how that felt in your body as you were clearing and saying yes to those different things. I'd love to know.
And also, if anybody has any questions and wants to reach out. But Laura, thank you so much. You definitely have a gift, and I'm proud of you for using that gift, because a lot of people get scared of using that gift. So continue that, because you need to be doing more of it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And yes, everyone who wants more clearing money blocks kind of stuff, I have an actual clearing money blocks 101 workshop that's digitally online. And I'm doing manifesting 101, not this Saturday, but next Saturday. The early bird special runs out on Friday. So if you're like, I need to clear way more money bullshit out of my life, I invite you to go check out those, see which ones are resonating with you so you can be supported and clearing what's no longer serving you, especially light workers. We need to clear this stuff so we can shine brighter and speak our truth and have bigger, bolder impacts on the world.
Definitely. Well, I'm proud of you, and continue doing what you're doing, because you're doing an awesome job.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Sending you so much love, and sending everyone who's watching so much love. Hope you guys all have an awesome day.
Thank you. Bye, Laura.
Bye.